this morning, starting with Arsenal. Oh, yes. Now, at one stage, and Arsenal weren't talking about a quadruple, of course they weren't. But at one stage, maybe four honours were available to them. All of a sudden, no Carabao Cup, no FA Cup. It's gone from 4 to 2. And now the Champions League quarter-final action gets underway tonight with Arsenal in Portugal taking on Sporting Lisbon, and it's live on TalkSport. Simon, I'm going to get into this in a second. Ahead of the game, Mikel Arteta has called for perspective and a return to their identity ahead of the match tonight.
Yeah, feel that pain, feel that emotion, and use it to be better and to improve. So we were very clear in what happened, the reason why it happened. Watching the game two times, we didn't deserve to lose that match, but this is football, and we get punished for things that are related to our identity, and that's the things that we need to defend in the strongest possible way, because that's the reason that we are where we are today. I think what you have to be is clear. Instead of panic, understand if that happens, why it happened, and bring clarity. And when you analyze that and you accept that, be better. That's it, and that's the thing that we have to do.
The Arsenal haters are waiting in the wings, aren't they? Oh, the bottle's going, the bottle's going. What do they need to do? Do Arsenal need to be defined by what is as opposed to what might have been?
No, I think Arsenal are top of the league for a reason. And I think they'll continue to be at top of the league. And the only thing that will change that, and we'll seal that, next Sunday week. If there is a full-on challenge to Arsenal and they start to eat themselves, then you will see it starting next Sunday week at the Etihad. If they get beat by Man City, then we'll start to see a real challenge. I don't think we'll see it. I think Arsenal are top of the league for a reason. It is a poor result. Doesn't matter what Mikel Arteta talks about, the idea of we didn't deserve to lose. You did lose. You got, the team went, you pulled yourself back into the game, and then the team go and score another goal. So, with due respect to the circumstances, you're playing against a championship side that are in decent nick, but notwithstanding, they're a championship side that went out of the Premier League last year with a whimper, started this season poorly, and got some form. But Arsenal shouldn't be losing an FA Cup quarter-final at Southampton. And they have. And, they come off the back of another result. So, with due respect, he's finding out about certain players. But I just think that they will have enough in them to win the Premier League. Now, whether they can continue to win the Champions League, I don't know.
You see, that would still constitute a game changer, though, Simon, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would have gone to 3-1, albeit if they do it and they win the Premier League, they win the Premier League. That's still a game changer.
It happens each season, doesn't it? It happened the same like last year with Liverpool. And, it doesn't matter. At the end of the season, you're the Premier League champions. What you could have won the FA Cup, they've won the FA Cup in the last 5-6 years. You could have won the League Cup. With due respect to the League Cup, it's not the sought-after trophy that most clubs are aiming for. You'll take it if it's there because it's a trophy.
Yeah.
Champions League, well, Arsenal got to the semi-finals last year. They'll be looking to go one better. I still think they'll win this Premier League, but notwithstanding, it writes headlines when you start losing games. You lose in the League Cup final in a 50-50 game. The performance was the thing that people were concerned about. The fact that they lacked any kind of idea in the second half against Man City. Against Southampton, despite the fact they might have dominated possession, they had 24 shots on goal, whatever they had, they still got beat.
Yeah.
And so they just have to focus on the game tonight. I expect them to come through this tie.
And they're there, though. 16 wins in a row at home for Sporting Lisbon. 16.
Yeah, so what? Don't go there. I mean, if they go there, get beat 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1, or they go and get a draw, it doesn't matter. It's a two-legged tie. The game will be won and lost at the Emirates, unless they get themselves in the way of a hiding tonight, which I don't suspect they will.
I mean, I keep on thinking, though. I keep on thinking. At one stage, it was 4, then it was 3. And I know, and you'll jump on it. A lot of that's to do with the media. But if they go out of the Champions League before the semi-final stage, and it's suddenly down to 1,
but no distractions, have they?
And as you say, the Etihad is looming. All of a sudden, the headlines change. They're changing as it is.
Well, of course
They're
they
changing
are,
as it
because
is.
that's what headlines have to do. They have to flex and bend to create content. Otherwise, it'll just be one straight line, won't it? So, for all intents and purposes, FA Cup quarterfinals, League Cup finals, they're going deep into competitions. At some point, some people would say that's a good thing. Of course, when you lose them, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing because it sends you out a warning sign that they're going to be challenging the league.
Yeah.
These competitions could be a distraction. Having FA Cup semi-finals in the middle of run-ins for Premier Leagues could be a distraction. Now, I think winning games is more important
Yeah.
than being distracted by the upside of opportunities.
Yeah.
But notwithstanding that, Arsenal need to get across the line one way or t'other. They're top of the Premier League after 31, 32 games, whatever it is, 31 games.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be there. They've had lots of silly criticism about set piece FC and whatever else they are, and asterisks against their name, all this sort of rubbish that I just don't understand why there's necessity for it. But it makes, what it does make is it makes for a interesting title race. Did we want Arsenal to be streaking away with the league right now, so there's nothing for us to talk about?
Well, they want to be streaking away with it.
I'm sure they do,
Yeah.
but we don't want them to be, and
No.
neutral observers don't want them to be.
In the newspapers this morning, you'll see it, and we're going to talk about it. Arteta introduced another quirky training drill, asking his players to hold marker pens between their hands while simultaneously controlling the ball with their feet. His latest drill took place during an open 15-minute training session in front of the cameras. It all looked a bit strange, a bit quirky. This was Arteta on that.
I think that training session has to have different elements, and it has to be related to the messages that we sent and the compromises and commitments that we've done between us. And I try to have all those messages and commitments as much as possible in as many situations as possible, and training was one of them.
Make of this what you will. If you're watching live on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. The drills with pens, as I say, there they are. There's pictures, as I say, Simon, in the newspapers this morning. This was a 15-minute training session, during which time it was open. Thereafter, it was closed to the media. And I wonder if that is for the sake of the cameras. I'm not sure. It's quirky to say the least.
Was anyone asking what the purpose of it was?
Well, that was his answer. That was his answer.
Being what?
A training session has to have different elements. It has to be related to the messages that we sent.
Yeah, I heard that, but what were they then? What does a pen signify? Joining the dots? Look, I don't know. I mean, players have the attention span of gnats, so being able to try to keep them focused on various things, whether we think it's corny, whether we think him doing his Edison light bulb moment in the dressing room was a load of old rubbish. We're not footballers. We don't sit in that space where, you know, some of the things, I don't sit there working out dance routines. You know, footballers do, so they can celebrate scoring a goal.
Yeah.
So whilst it's quirky and it might not be what we think is conventional thinking, if Arteta feels it's a way of communicating with his players, keeping them engaged, or has some degree of intrigue about what they're doing, it makes a story. I mean, they're probably sitting there laughing, going, we can put marker pens in our hands, and the papers are going to write about it.
Well, it's almost an invitation for ridicule, isn't it? And they're not afraid to be ridiculed for it. They're not bothered by it.
No one wants to be ridiculed. I mean, nobody enjoys being ridiculed. No one gets a real satisfaction from it. They want to be respected and revered and admired. They don't want to be taken the mickey out of. And, you know, I remember years ago, do you remember when Tony Adams, former Arsenal captain, was managing Granada, doing a dance routine in the middle of the pitch? That was proper opportunity to ridicule.
Yeah.
This is something slightly different. Look, we will see. I suspect Arsenal will get a result tonight. They need to get a result. They can't go 3 games in a row without playing in a way that would be mindful of where their opportunities exist. So I expect them to do something this evening that's relatively valuable. Now, whether that's a win, who knows?
Okay, you'll find out how they do, because it's live in Talk Sport. Sporting Lisbon against Arsenal tonight. And remember, Sporting Lisbon, 16 wins on the trot at home for Sporting Lisbon. Will tonight be 17? We'll see. 10:30.
To the Man City game where we were there in the Carabao Cup final, the way they played that game, we could rewind to the Southampton game.
Yeah.
And we could rewind just now to the game we saw against Bournemouth. It's a team that plays for a set piece. It's a team that wants to catch you on the counterattack.
Yeah.
It's just a very strange, because when you think about Real Madrid, you think about Barcelona, you think about Manchester City, you think about the top teams in the world, Inter,
Bayern. Yeah.
Bayern. Very rare do they play only on the counterattack. Very rare do they wait for a set piece. Very rare do they play so negative in so many moments. And Arsenal have done that, and they've been second best to Man City, second best to Southampton, second best, by the way, to Sporting the other day.
Yeah.
Sporting left that game thinking, I was not so bad. It's supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. That was not so bad. So that's the worry for me. That's the issue. The performances haven't been there. And I think what happens is when you come to the beginning of the season, it's, hey, boys, we're going to play this way. This is our style. This is our identity.
Yeah.
The results will follow.
Yeah.
Now it's the opposite. Now they go into a game. They don't know who they are. They don't know how they want to play. And they just like, we just need to play for the result. We just need the result. And when you do that, you start to see what happened. Today, Bournemouth just played their game.
Yeah.
They didn't really care about the result, it looked like to me.
Yeah.
And they were free-flowing, and they were expansive, and they played, and they put energy into the game, and so many good moments they created. But Arsenal, for me, went in there like all cagey, like, hey, we're just going to see what happens today. We just need to get the result.
To that point, though, I do. We've all joked and banter aside. I don't remember many chances that Arsenal created. I don't remember many openings. I don't remember them open up. Bournemouth are a very expansive team. They come at you. They've got wingers. They've got 4-2-3-1. They try and go high, wide, and fast as quickly as possible. There was so many opportunities on the counter attack where Arsenal kind of got to the edge of the 18-yard box, slowed it all the way down, and like you say, played to try and kick it off somebody to get a set piece. And I do agree with Grella to that point. When you're heavily reliant on set pieces, when you're heavily reliant on mistakes from others to get over the line, well, what happens if they don't? What are you doing that creates and puts them in those difficult moments? And I do wonder now, not only for the fan base, but they got Champions League in the week. Sporting are a good team. But all the pressure before this is on Arsenal anyway. Now the fan base have seen them lose 3 and 4. They'd only lost 3 in the previous 49 games, I believe. So when you look at it in that perspective, Arsenal fans a few weeks ago were like, this is great. We're going to win. We win. We don't care what anyone says. Spin it. Now they've lost 3 of the last 4. Massive game against Sporting, where you're expected to win. But Sporting have already shown that they can be good on the road, and they've already shown that they can hurt you and impact you. So the nervous energy is going to be there. Now, do you think we have to win that game? But actually, we've got Man City in a few days' time afterwards. This is a huge, monumental week for Arsenal, for Arteta, and for the fan base. All jokes aside, it could all go in a week. It could all go in a week.
And that social comment we had just coming in a second ago, the talk of the quadruple has disappeared very, very quickly. And keep those comments coming in, by the way. We will react to them here in the studio. It is interesting, though, earlier on in the season, I think we did a little chat about this, that it looked like Arsenal had learned their lesson from previous seasons because they those games that in previous seasons when they have blown the title that they lost. I remember when they played Fulham at Craven Cottage around the turn of the year. It was a terrible performance. It didn't look great, but they did manage to win the game. They kept themselves going. It looked like they had learned how to win ugly, to grind.
The one thing that has been labelled at this team from the start of the season was in those big games, they didn't go to win. I think back to Anfield, Liverpool, Szoboszlai scores at 1-0. It was there for Arsenal to go and kick on the Man City game. And a lot of the Arsenal fans that I know were complaining that in those games, it's been too safe. It's been played with the handbrake on. I just wonder now, have they got to a point where it's like, as long as we don't lose, it's okay? Because we got that gap and that. And have they...
They're playing for the worst outcome rather than the best outcome.
Have they left the handbrake on too long, Grella?
Yeah, I think what happens is it's just the nature of football. First of all, we love this game because, and we have the honor of covering this game because it's always, what have you done for me lately? It doesn't matter what you did. It's always you're as good as your last game. It's always, hey, now as a new 90 minutes, you have to perform. It's not like, oh, well, defensively we got away with the last one, so today we could do the same thing. I think when you go into games, and the most shocking for me was when we were there at Wembley in the Carabao Cup, the way they approached that game, like what an opportunity to show, hey, we're here. Hey, this is our season. Hey, we're going to put our stamp on this game. Instead, it was quite the opposite. It's like, hold on, let's stay in our shell. I swear to God, jokes aside, every time I watch them, I say, it feels like I'm watching an Italian team from 10 years ago because it's so slow and it's back and it's sideways. And it's like, oh, let's see if we can get them on the counter. And if we can't, let's just go back into our shape. that allows teams that are way more inferior to be like, oh, we're in the game.
I
We
think
have
it's a
chance.
great comparison, Grella, to the Italian teams, the great Italian teams. But those teams were still mentally strong, weren't they? They played defensive football. They played for the 1-0 win. But you always felt like they were titans mentally. I don't necessarily get that feeling with Arsenal.
I just think that in the Premier League and in the Champions League at the highest level, and that's why maybe we haven't seen an Italian team win it in so long. That's why Italian football is a little bit in disarray at the moment, is because when you approach a game that way with such, I don't want to say negativity, but you understand what I mean.
Caution
it's like on
first.
your back foot,
Yeah.
caution first, safety first. Let's just get it there. When you approach a game like that, when you're Arsenal, when you've got attacking options, when you've got that sort of,
That was going to be my next
I think
point.
you're just opening Pandora's box. And with this loss today, by the way, from a results standpoint and from a table standpoint, Man City are sitting there now saying, we control our own destiny. They do.
Yeah.
They've opened Pandora. With the loss today, the math says that now Man City, if they win out, by math alone, the goal difference will take place because they have 2 games in hand. They play Arsenal after Chelsea, right, at home. So they've opened up a box now where they almost only half control what
Yeah.
the outcome is. And you would imagine, like we're speaking about now, if Arsenal go to Manchester City and say, hey, listen, let's just keep everything in front of us. Let's just slow the game down. It's going to be a repeat of the Carabao Cup final where Man City.
Look at that from Brad's. He wants him out. Pathetic. Sack him tonight. It's done. They are very, very much here. Troy, Arsenal
it didn't take
under
long.
Arteta, they first blew the title, what was it, 4 seasons ago? I think it was that 22-23 season.
Yeah.
They lost it by 2 points. Probably should have won it. Could make, obviously they're not going to sack him, but you could make the argument that he's learnt nothing in 4 seasons.
Oh, no. Look, I'm not. I could go down the route of rage bait here, which I think the company wants me to do, or I could go down the sensible route. So I'm going to do both to keep everyone happy. They're not going to sack him because he has moved that club astronomically forward from where it was. They're always in contention now, and they're being spoke about as one of the best teams in world football, and rightly so. But this is why Arsenal fans, that's why I love you, and this is why you love me. Because when it's right and when they're winning, they're hammering me. They can't wait to get down on Troy. Now, sack him. He's top of the league. He's top of the league. They're in the Champions League. Now it's sack him, get rid of him. Who are you going to bring in? Anyone?
I don't think.
No, it's daft. But hey, Arsenal fans, I love it as well. So I want to ask you this question, Arsenal fans. Remember before they didn't have any strikers. Today, know the strikers they played? Gyökeres, remember he's the best. I didn't know what I was talking about. He's the best. Havertz, remember he's the best. I know what I'm talking about. And Jesus, all played today. All of them played. So
Gyökeres scored.
he scored a penalty, no problem. But I also said he would score in these games. It's the big games that's going to matter. Has he scored against Liverpool yet?
Well, they
he
keep
scored
on coming.
against Man City yet?
Master speed. Hashtag Arteta out, please. So maybe they are calling for him to be.
But this is what
be sacked.
happens. They all get frustrated.
This is a bit more constructive from Daniel09. Arsenal have a bad 6 in Zubimendi,
Oh my
and they
God.
don't have a main man leading their attack.
A bad 6 in Zubimendi. Literally a week ago, Nigel Reo-Coker plays the position, played it unbelievable level.
One of the best players in Europe.
Talking about he's one of the best players in Europe. And also, Arsenal fans 2-3 weeks ago said he's the signing of the season, most underrated signing.
Okay, Grell,
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, but the past is the past. What's happened has happened. If you were Arsenal, if you were Arteta, right now, what do you do to get this done? Win the title.
It's such a fine line between, okay, let's go for games and let's be pragmatic.
Yeah.
And for the beginning of the season, they had that right. They had that right where, they were defensive. They were great on set pieces. They've got the set piece coach that they, and
We've got murals of him.
The murals
We've got paintings on the wall, don't worry.
and that's all great, and that's awesome. And now that's become, as pressure gets tighter, that's become, hey, let's be a little more. It's already safe, by the way, when they were successful throughout the entire season, right? And let's not take anything away from them. They're in a great position still to do something in the Champions League. They got the 1-0 against Sporting, and also they still, in their respect, control their own destiny for the Premier League. But when you take that, and it's a already safe system and a very pragmatic system based on set pieces and defensive moments, and then now it's also when the pressure comes and you make it even more safe, which is what we've seen in the biggest moments. It's like, imagine how they feel 90 minutes goes by, they lose the Carabao Cup final. 90 minutes goes by, they're second best to Southampton. The FA Cup's gone. 90 minutes go by, average game against Sporting. I wonder how the group feels. They must feel like we just let that opportunity slip. We didn't take advantage of those moments. So I think it's been way too safe. And if I'm Arsenal moving forward, to answer your question, I just take that bar and I move it back the other way, and I say, how fast can we play forward? Can we play forward faster? Can we play a higher intensity?
I think when you go back, moments like Declan Rice after games, remember his video, I can't remember the game where he was like, happens every time. Like they missed opportunity. I think City had lost earlier on, and then they drew the game. And he's like, happens all the time because he knows these are key moments. But let's talk to the mental side of it from a player's point of view. You start to believe the hype after a little while. We're talking about, let's use Declan as a perfect example. He's one of the best holding midfield, all-round midfielder in world football, probably in the top 5. Start to hear that maybe he's going to win a Ballon d'Or, or maybe this year he wins 3 or 4 trophies and they'll win the World Cup. Then you start talking about Saka, he's just got a brand new contract and it's all this. You start to believe, hey, this is our season, this is happening. The one thing mentally that happens with Arsenal and their Arsenal fan base is, because they've been so close over the last 4 years, it gets nervy. It gets, we want it. And you get tight. As a player, you get tight because you want it so bad that you end up doing less by trying to do more.
And to that point, I think it's a brilliant point you make. Also, when you look back relatively recently to some of those title-winning sides that had that mentality, they also had big leaders in the dressing room. Look at Lampard under Mourinho, you had Drogba, Terry, even more recently Manchester City, you had Fernandinho, players like that who you knew
Kevin
when they were
Warner,
backs were against the wall,
Company.
they would get it done. Do you see that in this Arsenal team? Do they have those kind of leaders?
Do you know what? I think they do, but I think they have leaders. I don't think they have those type of leaders because I don't think those type of leaders are in the game anymore.
Okay.
So I think they have the new version of what leaders look like. Your Gabriels, your Salibas, Raya to an extent, Declan Rice. You talk about top players who know what it's like and probably going to be captains for their national teams moving forward. Jurrien Timber at right back as well. He's been a big miss. No one's really talking about that. Like, he's gone out and that whole back line just looks a little bit weaker and that whole right side's just stopped in terms of the attacking prowess as well. But I think now every single one of them would have to say there's a nervous energy. There is. They're humans. They've gone from being clear favourites, quadruple 3 weeks ago to, hey, do you think we'll win anything? That's the kind of conversation that'll be happening now. And you can, and also you as a player, you can front it up like, oh, we'll be okay, on to the next one. But when you drive home and you listen to the radio and you're getting all the things come through on Instagram, you're getting this come through on
I was going to say, you're
socials.
clicking on YouTube and watching
you're getting all of this. It plays a little bit in the back of your mind because you might act like you don't hear it, but they hear everything.
And by the way, I'm going to just address the elephant in the room, and I think Troy's hit on it a little bit, is what happens now, because I don't even think we've actually even thought this, but like what happens now if they don't win the Premier League? What happens if they don't win the Champions League or the Premier League? We're talking about quadruple a month ago, and now all of a sudden, what about? I think the chasers in the Premier League, I think they have their own issues. I think Man City is not the most powerful Man City that we saw from years ago. So that's been the benefit of the doubt for Arsenal. But imagine they bottle this. If they bottle this, heads have to fly, right?
Yeah.
Like, or what? Because you
Great
have to
point.
change something.
Great point.
Right? I'm not saying it's Arteta, but I'm just saying, then
How do you keep the players?
if you're an Arsenal fan, how do you continue to, how can you accept that?
But also, how do you keep the players? And everyone keeps saying this, and again, Cos isn't here at the moment, he's away on paternity leave, and congrats to him and his family again and the baby, but he kept saying to us, they're all young, they've all signed long-term contracts. Yeah, but they all want to win. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these big contracts that they've got, okay, we might have to move on. There's also financial fair play. There's all these play. So how many of these players, like a Saliba, does he go, I've had my time. Real Madrid looks nice.
And as we saw from the table there, you won't have won it in a relatively weak season. This isn't a season
one
where
of the
100
lowest
points,
of all time. Yeah.
Exactly, it's one of the lowest of all time. We've had some comedy there. Arteta's already gone as far as some of the Arsenal fans are concerned. He's back home in Spain. They're talking about Fabregas. They need their mentality back. Some of the potential managers that could come in. But the thing is, when you look at Arsenal? Is it a manager problem? Is it Arteta's issue? Or is it something as a club?
Please just read this. I'm about to throw myself off
Please,
this
what
desk.
are your thoughts on Arteta and him always playing Rice and Zubimendi, leaving players like Norgard on the bench? But I think that points to the question I'm asking. Is this an Arteta problem or is this an Arsenal problem?
There's an Arsenal fan out there that thinks the reason they're not winning is because Norgard.
He was good at Brentford.
He was good at where?
Very good at Brentford.
At Brentford. At Brentford.
But I think this tells you a little bit what the Arsenal fan base is in right now.
That's exactly what
is
I'm
we got,
saying.
5 comments? I'm sure we got more in the back, but we show 5 comments. And they're all, it's just like, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, maybe it's Zubimendi, maybe it's Arteta, maybe it's like, it's like the panic is so real that I'm not an Arsenal fan. I respect everything that they do.
They're calling for a holding midfield.
But I can feel the panic from where I sit of the Arsenal fan. I saw the panic at the Carabao Cup at Wembley. As soon as Man City scored, they turned into mannequins, which I've never seen.
I thought
that
they were
in a
ghosts
stadium
because they were all
before.
gone. They were all gone.
He was there going, waving at them and everything. But as soon as Man City scored in that game, they just went like,
Yeah.
like the shell shock. The pressure is so real, and I think it makes our game really special and really beautiful. But it's going to be unbelievable close to the season.
Especially, and I can't imagine that many City fans are sitting here watching this, but they'll look at that and think we've got them bothered, haven't they? They've got the entire fan base not with any clue what's going wrong.
You know what? In all seriousness, we both asked Nico O'Reilly and Pep Guardiola, do you smell blood? Do you smell blood in the water at the Carabao Cup final? Both of them said yes. Yes. Nico was like, yes.
I mean, the sea is red at the moment.
But he also said, yes, we're Man City, we're always under pressure, we expect to chase people down. The way he said it wasn't arrogant, wasn't this like false confidence, it was like, no, this is the standard here. And I think that's the difference between coming from Man City in the last 5 to 10 years of a team that's expected to win, had great players, had great pressure, and also seeing great players leave the building, where Arsenal are trying to build this over the last 4 or 5 years. And now they're getting at that final moment of, can you get over the line? There's a nervous energy there where everyone at City is like, oh no, we've done this before. We've won the last 10 games out. We've done that. We've come from being, no one's thinking we're going to do anything to, oh, by the way, they've won it again. Now, how are you going to stop us? They seem to grow and they run towards the fire in this moment. When you look at Arsenal, it's a little bit like, they don't know whether to run to the fire or run and go and get a fire hose. They don't know what to do. They're in between. But hey, what will fix it? Put Norgard in. Norgard will fix it.
He'll sort you out. He did a job for Brentford.
Do you know what? This season, the way this season's going, would you expect? I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea then go and win tomorrow.
I'm actually genuinely surprised how many comments we've got coming in saying that Arteta needs to be sacked. Arteta must go. If he couldn't win the league, at least we've been enjoying the way they were playing. I was hoping the team DNA will be restored after winning a title.
Let's go and get Wenger back. Let's get Wenger back. Finish in the top 4.
They even want Ange back. Replace Mikel with Ange. Ange Ball gets trophies. He might just do it. Norgard and Ange Postecoglou. That's what you needed all along.
Honestly.
If you were to sit here right now as we look ahead to Manchester City's game against Chelsea, who are your favourites to win the title? Do you have it City or is it still Arsenal?
Now?
Right now.
I have it City. I thought maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I just thought it just had that feeling of Arsenal would just grind it out.
There was enough of a gap, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think even if City won out, I just thought Arsenal wouldn't drop points against any of the lesser teams, should we say. Excuse me. Now, all in City's hands, coming up against a Chelsea team that we don't know. We don't know what this Chelsea team is, but when you just look specifically to City, they've won the Carabao Cup. They've already got one trophy in their back pocket. They're going through in the semi-final of the FA Cup, feel like they're going to have a nice little run towards the final. They've got no Champions League, just one less midweek game to play. It just feels like their full focus and attention will be like, right, deal with Chelsea. Their front line all of a sudden started to click. Ryan Cherki, they're just giving him the keys to the castle. Go and make happen. Semenyo, fantastic. Haaland scored a hat-trick not too long ago. It just feels like the momentum is shifting in their favour, whereas Arsenal are getting tight, as Grella said, moving it a bit more to the safety dial. Man City are going, well, there's no pressure on us. Let's just go and score. We know we're not going to keep clean sheets, but let's just go and score. And I just feel that for everyone talking about how great Arsenal is, just look how young this Man City team is. And it's got holes in it, very much like you said. but their confidence, the ability now to be fit at the right time. Remember, Pep Guardiola said after the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, when we spoke to him, was that everyone will be back fit by the final. He's now got John Stones on the bench. He's now got players of quality and been there, done that. They might go, all right, we're 1-0 up against Chelsea. Let me put John Stones in because he knows what he's doing. He gets us through this. I just think it's all in City's favour now. Sorry, long-winded way to say I think City get it.
Grell, you agree? City? Advantage City now?
No, I think that the gap is too big, and I think that Man City have their own issues. I agree with everything you said about the attacking players. I think they're a fantastic team. They play some good stuff on their day. Obviously, they smoked Liverpool the other day. Defensively, they get beat by 1 ball, 2 balls. That's where my worry is. They still have to win the next 2 games. Then they have to beat Arsenal as well. So that's going to be difficult. I think, this comment here, slow, toothless, poor passing, is the thing that even if Arsenal go on and win the Premier League is they have to find a way to play a little bit better football, and they have to be harder to play against. I think right now teams play against them and they're not put in a difficult game.
If
they don't create a lot of chances.
If they do win, do you see them a little bit like Rory at the Masters? So how many years have we seen Rory at the Masters struggling, but then he's won last year and this year like he's just flying? Could that happen with Arsenal?
Very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible, because this one is just like the tightness is like from getting there, getting over this hump and leading it into this new direction. And that's why they're so tight. Maybe when they win one, they'll move forward. But for sure, I think you can drop points, you can have a bad season, but you have to put teams in a difficult game. Teams have to leave the field when they play against you if you want to be one of the world's best.
Yeah.
They want to be one of the world's best, right? Teams have to leave the field that they're playing against you, especially at your place, going, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. They are so good in every department. And I think they leave the field there. I think Bournemouth leaves and says, they got lucky that they even got that penalty goal. It was a little bit of a fluky chance.
Yeah.
And I think they were better than them over the course of 90 minutes. And so if you want to be one of the world's best, I don't think many teams go to the Camp Nou and say, oh, they were easy to play against. I don't think many teams go to the Bernabeu and say that. I don't think many teams go to Bayern Munich Stadium and leave there and say, wow, that was not bad. A lot of teams leave there and say, poof, we're not even close. They're playing a different sport.
We'll have to wait.
We don't feel that against Arsenal.
We'll have to wait and see between now and the end of the season. Troy, there is an element of hate to say I told you so, because this is what you said on our air earlier on this season.
How many do you think they'll win?
I could make an argument they don't win any.
Then make the argument then.
Okay, I think City can beat them. Man City win this one, breaks the spirit, right? Can they go out in the FA Cup? Of course they can, because they're concentrating on the Champions League. Do you think they're the best team in the Champions League right now?
No.
There you go. So there's an opportunity for PSG to be better, for Bayern to be better on those days. So they could lose that. If you start to lose those games, you lose Declan Rice to injury. They can lose the title.
They win 2 trophies. They win the Carabao Cup and they win the Premier League.
I honestly don't know what they will win, if I'm honest. I'm with Troy.
Not doing that. He's just hammered me. No. Don't sit on the fence. It comes to him. Oh, I don't know what they could win.
I don't.
Nigel jumping on the bandwagon as always there. If there's any Arsenal fans left watching this, I think that's probably tipped them over the edge. But you called it.
I said it could happen. Again, wasn't getting too high. Greta, you thought they were going to win 2. I think I actually said I think they'll win 1 or 2 at the start of that. But then we had to ask the question whether they could do it. And I think everything that I said there has played out. So. Not that I'm right all the time, but I'm right about Arsenal all the time.
Great stuff, guys. It's been wonderful.
Arsenal, they got to win. They have to win this because he's enjoying himself too much now.
Can you imagine if they win, when they win, like how much negativity is going to come on to me? I've got a pile on at this moment in time. Arsenal fans that are still left, get some sleep. It's going to be a long week.
I was going to say.
I'm going to be here. Don't you worry.
I've got a feeling we're going to be doing another one of these after that last day of the season, potentially talking about Arsenal blowing it. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon here on Galazzo Network.
First of all, I've got to say I agree with Danny how brilliant Bournemouth were and their press. Arsenal just couldn't deal with that today, and they were a much better team. But from an Arsenal point of view, they look weak, they look vulnerable, they look very, very nervous, and too many basic errors, simple passes like that. I mean, that should be an easy pass from any player, let alone a team that are top of the league. Madueke 1v1, you get to the back, you run the ball out of play. Should be doing a lot better. And as I said, players look very edgy. The fans were very, very nervous. Should be a simple pass from Zubimendi. So you're seeing very, very good players making basic errors. Same thing again. I don't think that's a difficult pass to play that ball in behind for Gyökeres to run onto. And players need to take more responsibility. I know they're under pressure. Madueke 1v1. That ball can be crossed now. Chooses not to, fine. You've still got him 1v1, and you're thinking, OK, by the time you've got 4v3 in there with Arsenal players, that, again, it should be a better ball. I said players be brave and not passing the buck. 1v1 Trossard. Look at the distance he's got to run at him, to go at him. But his decision is to know I'm going to take my time, pass the ball back, pass the ball sideways, and that summed Arsenal up. Far too many touches on the ball, letting Bournemouth get back and get organised. Look how many touches Trossard has here, look. I mean, 5, 6, 7, and all of a sudden, when they do find that right pass, like there, same thing again, Trossard, watch. Takes an extra touch. Watch Gabriel's reaction in the middle, because he takes one touch and another one and runs it out of play. Look, he's screaming to get that ball across, and that sort of summed Arsenal up in that game today. And you can see, I mean, the alarming thing is the open play, the XG 0.18 there, and then shots on target. One of those was a penalty. Arsenal were miles off it today, and it was a very, very nervous performance. And you would be really worried having looked at that today because of what's gone on in the last 3 or 4 weeks with Arsenal. There was no energy. Bournemouth wanted it more than Arsenal, and as I said, that's not a good sign going forward.
I don't think it was tiredness either. I think it was nervousness. They ran, but I think their running stats was bigger than Bournemouth. So it wasn't the midweek game.
Yeah.
But also you get Victor Gyökeres making these comments about a dry pitch didn't help. Now, look, we know he's not saying that the dry pitch meant that Arsenal lost the game, but they're the kind of comments that get picked up, that get spread everywhere, that just add to that kind of general feeling around Arsenal.
Funnily enough, even if the pitch was dry, I don't think they played enough long balls. Bournemouth pressed them high and went man for man at the back. You've got Madueke and Martinelli who started the game. I didn't see them hit enough long balls and play some percentages and try and spin them round. So if the pitch is dry, you've got international players. Make some different decisions.
No excuses today. The best team won.
Yeah, they did.
There's no doubt about it. They wanted it more than Arsenal, and that would be the worrying thing.
And Manchester City will be looking at it thinking perhaps an opportunity is opening up for them. This is who they've got coming up. Obviously, City have got Chelsea tomorrow, and then they play each other. And I mean, we always knew this was going to be a really important game in terms of the season, but it's just looking increasingly so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge game again, as they all are at this stage of the season. When you've had that lead, or got the lead that Arsenal have, and City have been playing really, really well and putting pressure on them. I thought because of the performance in midweek in Lisbon that, OK, they didn't play that well, but they got a really good result, and I thought the positivity from that would have carried on today. And I thought if they'd have won that game today, it was as good as over. But they've put themselves under huge pressure again.
Do you want to call the title race at the moment?
No, not anymore.
Wimp.
Let's go to John. He's an Arsenal fan. John boy.
Hello, gents. You all right?
All right, Johnny. John. What happened?
Good. Oh, God knows, mate. It's a funny old game, isn't it, football? I mean, I didn't actually get to watch a game. I was otherwise engaged for reasons which you'll probably find quite boring, so we'll move on. But from what I've heard and read, I mean, we're absolutely terrible. And coming on the back from Sporting Lisbon, they played pretty well. I mean, that team haven't lost in 17 games, and we did pretty good.
Are you bottling it again, John boy? Are you fearing the bottle job?
I'm certainly fearing it, definitely. But I think we just all need to calm down. I mean, I remember after the Everton game and all the hullabaloo which followed that, I listened to the talks phoning after that, and everyone was saying, oh, great, that's it, turning point, dug in, we've won the game, blah, 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 blah.
Oh.
But those are the same fans who are going to bring up now and to say we're bottling. So we just need to, have a bit of perspective, calm down.
Give us go on, you give us the perspective that Arsenal fans should adopt now.
Well, the last caller, Simon was his name, was it? He said, sell half a team. Now, what half a team who's been top of the league for 5 months and who looks like we're going into the semi-final of the Champions League and who've got to the final of the Carabao Cup and maybe obviously didn't win it. But you can't just say statements like sell half the team. Like, we are top of the league. Yeah. And Chelsea, whilst I'll be surprised if they won tomorrow, I won't be shocked. So it's not beyond the realm of the possibility City won't win tomorrow. And then if that's the case, we'll just knock it up to experience and crack on. But football being football, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal beat Man City 3-0 or lost 3-0. You know, football, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I think we'd be fine against Sporting. And I think we're going to have a performance.
John, John, you're giving us a load of, positive stuff here. But let's be honest, you just got beat at home to Bournemouth.
We did.
Come on. You lost in the Carabao Cup. This is a massive wobble. Like, what's happened? You can sit here and say, let's go again. Arsenal are all over the gaff.
Well, I've heard lots of TalkSport and other journalists today saying how good a side Bournemouth are. So which one is it?
You're a good team, but you're playing at home.
Yeah, I get that, Jamie. I get that. And clearly, I didn't expect us. I did expect us to win today, but not in a an arrogant fashion.
John, all I'm hearing is waffle. No, seriously, all I'm hearing is waffle. It's get the job done. Losing at home to Bournemouth it's not fatal, it's not a disaster. But do you know what? On the back of the last 2 domestic games, it's feeling like you lot are bottling it again. That's what it feels like on the outside looking in. From the inside looking out, how do you feel? Are you going to bottle it again?
I don't think we will bottle it.
No, you said think. I don't want to hear thinks. I want to know. I want you to say categorically, yes, we will. No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Okay. All right. John, listen, thanks for your call. Do you think they're going to bottle it?
No, I don't. I think they're still going to win. Like I said, I had a round with Luke to come in. Luke coming, understandably, just come back there. And Luke, you know what Luke's like, big gooner, love him. And I'm saying you're still going to win it, man. He's arguing with me why they won't win it. I'm saying that you go to. He said we got to beat City, got to beat City. I said no, you don't. Just draw with City. Draw with City. Keep at arm's length. If they do lose,
no, but it's starting to look like now that other teams can beat them. Before, I was thinking there's only a couple of teams.
You know, the way they set up, Bournemouth, they need a huge amount of credit. They set up not dissimilar on the edge of the box from goal kicks the way City did in the Carabao Cup final. And they just filled gaps. Arsenal couldn't get out. There is a kryptonite here. There is a weakness. There's always a weakness. Pepper's found it and exploited it. Exactly the same thing, almost identical. When the ball goes back to Raya, Gary Neville was digging out Kepa, right? And he was right to do that. You could say the same thing about Raya today when the ball's at his feet.
No.
Couldn't play out.
Yeah. Do you think they're overdoing it? Like with all these pens in training, the big screen TikToks happening.
I don't know.
All these analogies. Bring your lunch and bring your dinner. You don't see Pep doing this. You just don't see it.
Well, the thing is, you don't know what Pep does because Pep doesn't show everyone.
But he don't need to.
No, he doesn't.
They go out, they win.
Yeah, but they don't. I don't know why we've got access to that. That's the question. Why are we allowed to see this? Training ground should
Arsenal
be private.
put it out.
That's what I mean.
It's embarrassing.
That's the bit that I don't get.
But what are they doing?
Training
Why have they got a big screen out on the training ground?
Keep the training ground sacrosanct. You do not need to have anyone anywhere watching what goes on the training ground.
They tweeted out.
That's what I mean.
Bring your lunch. Bring your dinner.
That's what I mean. That's weird. The weird thing isn't they've done it. The weird thing is we've seen it.
No penguins.
I
didn't have penguins.
Taxi. Remember Taxi?
Yeah.
Taxi was a good
one. Running low on Kit Kats, mate. Everyone knows that running low on Kit Kats. The lunchbox was not full.
Remember the old Dairy Lee Dunkers? You used to open the little thing and, that was good packed lunch. Filler. I don't know what's going on there, matey.
Oh dear, absolute stinker they're having. Can we get one more call? Can we go to Jay's? We're gonna go to a break. Keep your calls coming in. Arsenal fans want to hear from you. A massive day for Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth fans, credit to you. You won the game. Brilliant performance. But Arsenal fans, you're in disarray right now. 03 717 223344.
Bring your lunch, bring your dinner.
Let's hear from Mikel Arteta though. He was very critical of his team following that 2-1 home loss to Bournemouth.
We need to look at ourselves first because a lot of the incredible things that the team has done for 9 months have to remain the same in the last 7 weeks of the competition, in both competitions. And today we weren't there. This is sport. It happens, and now is a good scenario to see how we're going to react to that as a team.
Let's go to Ryan. He's an Arsenal fan. All right, Rise?
All right, Ryan.
Hello.
All right, mate.
What happened?
I think people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, Jimmy.
Don't worry about us, mate. Don't worry about us.
What about Arsenal? Yeah, well, I think we'll still bottle it again. Like, sure, it's who we are, isn't it? Is that what Anne said?
Listen, Ryan.
Yeah?
Ryan. What happened?
Hello?
What happened today, mate? Come on, tell us what you think.
Tell us what happened. All right, I'll tell you what happened. We're missing too many players.
Bore off.
Kai Havertz.
Bore off.
What is he
Bore
doing?
off.
Kai Havertz.
Yep.
Useless.
What do you mean you're missing too many players? You've got a squad. Your squad has been built and designed. This squad is good enough to win the Premier League. What happened today?
No doubt it's good enough, but Arteta, I don't know what he's saying.
Go on.
Watching videos and training, set the boys train.
What do you mean?
What is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's go to John. He's an Arsenal fan. John.
Right, John boy.
I mean, Cundy's made some very good points, so I was going to reiterate. First of all, managers look brave, and I've been talking to you for 5 years about this. Now, when we played City, first of all, the high press, Liverpool did it against us, we played rubbish. City did it against us, Bournemouth were brave today, played good football. Now, if I'm the manager, and I looked at the cup final, and I know that my two attacking CAMs are out, Odegaard and Esme's not fit, I would have taken a gamble and played Trossard in the middle just to get more link-up play, get him dropping deeper and maybe countering the press, which they didn't do. So that's on the manager. You can talk about players not being good enough who are so-called squad members, but that's a poor excuse. Now, if you want to ask me, do I think they're going to bottle it? I think, and I said it to you a month ago, City were on a good run. They messed up a little bit. I think if City win today and they beat us next week, I think we'll drop points and they'll win it, just because it will be too much psychological destruction on players' minds. So I really think there's a good chance. I'm not saying they're not going to win it, but I'm saying the next two games are going to be crucial. And I think if City do win both those games, beat us, I think City will probably win it.
No, I mean, but you can still go to City and get a draw. That's not. I know you celebrate the draw, and everyone laughed at you about 2 or 3 seasons ago. But getting a draw this season, keep them at arm's length. Now, I'm not saying you go there for a draw, but they've got. By the way, City, they have their frailties as well. They're a bit of a purple patch, but I've got to tell you, Real Madrid exposed them. They can still be beaten. We're not talking about a Pep Guardiola magnificent machine.
No, I understand that, but I still don't agree with you.
Let's go to Anthony. He's an Arsenal fan. Anthony.
Right,
Gents.
Right.
What happened?
I said to you guy on the phone, I said, I think we've gone into this with the mentality that we've already won it.
What do you mean?
Who has?
With the attitude that we've already won the league.
Who's done that?
I think we did today.
What, the players and the manager of the fans? Who? Because you're part of the problem as well. By the way, did you go to the game, man?
No, I didn't.
Right, okay, let me tell you now. The Gooners at the stadium, there is something going on in the stand that the players will feed off. There was an atmosphere that you could sense the nerves. I think the fans are part of the problem right now because they are feeding their own anxiety and their own fears onto the pitch.
You're blaming the fans?
They're part of the problem.
Don't blame the fans.
They're part of the problem. They are going there scared. I can't say that word. Scared, stiffless.
Okay. No, I'm not.
No, you are. They are.
I'm sorry.
They absolutely are. There's no atmosphere. The ground is flat.
Today. You had drums going.
What do you mean?
They had the drums on.
There's no drums, mate.
Mate, we had drums.
Right, I don't care about drums. The fans are feeding the anxiety. It's all around the office. The lads come back. Every gooner you meet, you have the same conversation. They're all absolutely soiling themselves because they fear they know what's going to happen in the next 6-7 weeks. And they're part of the problem as well.
And do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I mean, we have a big enough squad now to go out and win these games. I'm sorry. Today, we were not good enough.
Do you know they booed at the end of the game, the Arsenal fans?
Yeah, they did.
They booed.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I know.
You're top of the table.
I know.
They booed. What is wrong with you lot?
One thing I do not understand from today's game, and as much as I would like it in the future as Declan Rice as captain, why all of a sudden today, why isn't he giving it to Gabriel? who's been captain
Who
before.
cares? Who cares who's wearing the armband? Why is that a problem?
Well, Gabriel's been our leader
But
for...
does that matter? By the way, Declan Rice was brilliant today. He was your best player.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then where's your problem?
He carries us.
Yeah, well, where's
So
the
now you want
armband
from a
then?
captain?
You're looking for excuses here. Here's another thing, right? Arsenal have and been brilliant at relying on set pieces. When you are flat and set pieces don't pay off, you become really, really dull. And today, you were set piece FC without set pieces, and you got rolled over.
Set piece FC.
Without
Set piece FC without set piece.
they were. Bournemouth dealt with every single set piece. Declan Rice put a couple of good balls in, put a couple of iffy ones in. Set corners weren't great. When you can't conjure up something from a set piece and you've relied so heavily on it, and you can't create anything during open play, who are you?
Got some stats for you here. Arsenal's record in April over the last 5 years.
No.
They've won one game. In 5 years.
What, in all comps? Or just Premier League?
One game in April they've won.
In all comps?
Yeah. Sporting Lisbon is the game that they won. 2021, 1-1 with Fulham, lost to Everton, lost to Villarreal. 2022, lost to Palace, lost to Brighton, lost to Southampton. 2023, drew with Liverpool, drew with West Ham, drew with Southampton, got beat by Man City. 2024.
Oh my gosh.
Drew with Bayern Munich, lost to Villa, lost to Bayern Munich. 2025.
Oh my God.
Drew with Palace, lost to PSG, lost to Bournemouth, lost to PSG. 2026, lost to Southampton, beat Sporting, lost to Bournemouth. That is their April fixtures.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to beat Sporting midweek. They'll be fine. They'll turn that round. That stat will end.
That's shocking.
It is shocking. What's happening?
That is shocking.
What happens in April?
They bottle it. They bottle it in April.
April Fools. That's what they are. They're April Fools. They are. They literally are April Fools.
They're April Fools. That's out of order.
What? Well, you just read the stat. I'm just backing it up.
Let's go to a JJ. He's a Bournemouth fan. JJ.
Up the cherries.
Hi, lads.
JJ.
Cherries indeed.
Big result today. Played brilliant.
Yeah, massive result. Honestly, I was just laughing so much. All that hype bring your breakfast, lunch, dinner. All they've brought is crumble. It's all they've brought today.
Dessert. They brought dessert.
They brought dessert, lads. That's all they
good
brought.
dessert
Again,
with custard.
JJ, apparently the pitch was a bit dry, according to Goycrez.
Yeah, dry pitch.
Yeah, that's maybe on the fans. They could have got there earlier and maybe chucked some water on or something. I don't know, lad.
Yeah, I know. What? Seriously though, what is Gyökeres on about? What is he on about?
The pitch was a bit dry, Joe.
What is he on about?
I agree with him.
You can't come out and do an interview after the game saying your own pitch is dry.
No, I saw the pitch.
It's your pitch.
No, do you know what? He has got a point.
It's his pitch.
I know, but
the
groundsman needs to have a look at himself.
You can't complain about your own pitch.
The groundsman, mate.
It's literally a carpet.
No, it's a bit dry. I think he's right.
JJ, look, Bournemouth, fair play. Brilliant result. You know, decent form. Hard team to beat.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to want to play us for the rest of the season. I mean, we're 12 unbeaten, albeit a lot of draws in that. But I think mentally, what that win does for us today, that is so tight around the middle, top end of the table.
Yeah.
But I don't see why we can't push on from this. And yeah, like I said, I don't think anyone's going to want to play us. Like today's a good example. We absolutely suffocated Arsenal, and they just had no answer for it.
No.
They hated that press, and then it was a tactical press as well, where we weren't going on Raya too much, giving him time, and then I don't know what the heck he was doing. But
best keeper in the world, apparently. To Kai Havertz said he was best keeper in the world.
Also, I want to touch on Alex Scott as well, by the way. Phenomenal player.
Yeah. Do you think they'll hold on to him? Because I know he wasn't in the England squad last time out, and it looks like, because it's so congested there, he's going to miss out the World Cup squad. But he is one of those that will catch the eye, and I hate to say it, but other teams will be looking at him.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, we've come to learn. I've been a Bournemouth fan a long time. You can't get too attached to these players, and rightly so. He's destined for the top, I think. there'll be a lot of big clubs looking at him. He's a bit of a complete midfielder the way he's adapted his game now. But obviously I know I'm biased, but I personally think he should be on the plane. I think what he offers, he's just a phenomenal footballer.
JJ, thanks for your call. Arsenal fans want to hear from you. It's a terrible day at the office. Didn't bring your lunch. Didn't bring your dinner.
Bring the boots.
But they brought a dessert.
Oh, dessert.
The apple crumble was out.
Speaking of embarrassing, shall we talk about what happened yesterday at the Emirates? Here's how it all went down on TalkSport.
Mikel Arteta said, bring your lunch, bring your dinner, bring your energy. Let's see what's on the menu. Running through to Scott, who's running through the centre. He's charging through the middle and he slammed it home. And Arsenal are behind again.
None of us really thought Arsenal would blow their lead at the top of the table, and they might still win the title. But the door is now wedged wide open.
They've been beaten by the Cherries here at the Emirates. And Everton may just have rescued a point. It is Brentford 2, Everton 2. Kieran Dewsbury Hall is the man who sent the travelling fans into raptures. It means the two teams stay where they were. Brentford in 7th, Everton in 8th.
Wherever they finish from here on in, Cookie, would be a wonderful season for them.
Burnley 0, Brighton 2, and it's Mats Viva yet again with his second goal of the season. My goodness, Burnley are going down. Burnley 0, Brighton 2.
It's been a pathetic effort from Burnley this season.
Liverpool 2, Fulham 0, and it's Mo Salah who's got it. Liverpool, after being on the back foot for 5 or 10 minutes, have got 2 in 3 or 4 minutes themselves, and Fulham have got a mountain to climb. Liverpool 2, Fulham 0.
Unbelievable day yesterday. So much going on. It all started early doors with Arsenal here on TalkSport dropping points. They could have gone 12 points clear of Man City ahead of their game today with Chelsea, but not to be. Fair play, Bournemouth, a really solid performance from them. And then late last night, our Rory McIlroy dropping a 6-shot lead. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, it was mad.
We'll talk about the golf really soon. We discussed it yesterday going into the game. I had my reservations over Arsenal for this one because you've said it all season. Bournemouth are a good side.
Yeah, they are. And they're dangerous. And they play with pace. And they're direct at times. And they look to test you in many different parts of the pitch and do it brilliantly well. I said one of the performances I've seen all season was the first 60 minutes against Crystal Palace away, where Bournemouth were phenomenal. And they're so dangerous. Now, yesterday, Bournemouth did it again, where they caused Arsenal problems. And there's one thing that's driving me mad about what Arsenal are doing. And it's a simple thing, because we can talk about players' performances, who's been up and who's been down. Look, there's a number of Arsenal players, especially the wide men who are coming in. And there's a number of wide players who are not quite performing. Zubimendi's totally off his game at the moment. But this is driving me mad. And it stems from the goalkeeper, because Arsenal were very fortunate to get away with some of the casual passing from Raya. Now, this is the thing that got me yesterday more than anything. They're willing to take risks in their own half, Arsenal, but they're not prepared to take risks in the opposition's box. They're not doing it enough.
Why?
Well, for whatever reason, they're doing all their dangerous passing is at the back, going into midfield, starting the play-off. But when they get to the final third, they're going inside and sideways and backwards and out the other side. Flip it. Do the dangerous passing in their opposition box and don't take risks at your back line. To me, it's such an obvious.
Is that because they've not got the personnel?
No, they've got the personnel. It's easy to say to defenders, you squeeze up a bit, you make it difficult. If it's not on to play, Raya, don't play. If it's on, give it to them. You can make the quick throw outs and, send a fullback away really quickly. The pace of Arsenal's game was slow. It was too passive. But they're really risky when Raya had the ball yesterday. They were taking all sorts of risks, but they never had the same intentions in the opposition's sort of off. They were never doing it.
Which might lead to the fans being a little bit flat as well. Cass, I'm getting a bit... You don't want join in the bandwagon of people making fun of Mikel Arteta, right? But does he need to just chill out with the whole theatrics? I mean, yesterday, this rally and cry in the press conference, bring your lunch, bring your dinner. We see on the big screen in training, they've got TikTok reels to try and encourage the players. Don't forget, last season he was calling out bring your boots, and he did that video, and it's just like, chill out, you know, just focus on the basics. Stop worrying about trying to get everyone to think you're this big hype club and get us all up for it, because at the moment it's kind of cringe, FC.
Well, what you're seeing is when they cross the white line is completely different than what's being said.
Exactly, and it's drawing attention to that. For me, I'm looking now at a side, I'm going, have you got the character? Because you're chucking it like you have, but can you walk the walk?
Yeah.
You know, out of 2 trophies so recently, they have to now win the Premier League or the Champions League. It has to be the Premier League.
Oh, absolutely, Shaban, and you can feel it with the crowd. They're getting anxiety and they're getting angry, and they're seeing their team not do the things, and they're not caring too much about, oh, we can play it from the back and do everything brilliantly, and we can play. It's not the time of the year where you're looking for incredible performances of, you know, this is not the Henry, Bergkamp, Pires team that could have a swagger about them.
Yes.
They're not that. They're a methodical, good side that have absolutely done a lot of good things right this season. They're not that at the moment. They're a side that is actually nervous. To me, I'm watching yesterday and I'm thinking, stop playing in your own area and just get to... Gyökeres had no support at all yesterday. You know, if you look at the 2 wide players, Madueke and Gabriel Martinelli, who both of them were anonymous.
Yeah.
And look, Saka's taken some stick as well during the course of the season. He's not played as well. OK, players go in and out of form, but don't gift the opposition opportunities. Bournemouth, I know they were played with incredible freedom. I get that. But their instruction was to do that as well. Their instruction was quite clear. We're going to press you high. We're going to wait till Riot gets the ball. And when he does, we're going to really close you down quickly. And when we win it, we're going to win it in a good area. That's exactly what they did yesterday, and they do it brilliantly. And the two fullbacks, I'm going to give a mention because I thought both of them, Jimenez yesterday and Truffert. Yeah. I thought they were terrific. They handled the 2 wingers brilliantly. But Arsenal don't have to get caught up in all this. You know, we'll just keep playing in dangerous parts of the pitch and just play all your best passes, all your forward passes in the opposition's half.
I think a lot of fans will agree with you on that.
Extremely disappointing. It's a big punch on the face. That's what I said to the boys. And now it's about how we react to that. Because it's game on. It's going to require now a big spirit, a lot of fight, and very clear how we're going to approach that. There's no great areas. We are in, we are out. And we need to be very, very, very strong and determined to approach it in a different way that we done today, especially when the game wasn't going our way. We know what is at stake, and the fact that as a club we haven't done it for so long is a reason for that. It talks about the difficulty, but I just want to focus on the things that we can control, dominate, and we have done. It's not like we have to do a lot of new things that we haven't done. No, let's keep doing a lot of it, or almost all the things that we've done for 9 months, because that's what it has taken us all the way there.
Really pleased with the performance, with the win, and especially happy for the players because we were coming from a really good run of games, but there were a lot of draws there, and probably we were not appreciating what they were doing. We haven't lost a game since we played against Arsenal, I think 4th of January, and it means you are not getting days off. Sometimes we are playing better, sometimes we are playing worse, but the team is there and is competing for every game, and I think a game like this, considering the opposition, considering the moment of the season, how much was in play, I think it gives us this reward for the players that I think they deserved.
OK, the thoughts of Andoni Iraola and Mikel Arteta. But after the game, Viktor Gyökeres also spoke to the media and he questioned the pitch at the Emirates. Speaking to BBC Sport after the game, here's what Gyökeres said. We had some OK chances at the end, but the pitch was maybe a bit dry there, to be honest, so that didn't help. Of course, we all need to do better and need to take our chances. I'm very confident we can turn things around this week. We don't need to get stuck too much into what happened today. We need to look forward, think positive, and look forward to the games. Now, Jay, you were there at the stadium today. Did the pitch look okay to you? What do you make of that from Gyökeres?
Listen, that to me, that's just silliness. I see the pitch. The pitch looked perfect to me. The sprinklers were on before the game. They was on at half time. Both teams actually play on that same pitch. I don't know if you know that. Both teams play on it. And Bournemouth took that opportunities when they came. I hear what he's saying when he talks about being positive going forward, because I think in this situation you kind of have to look at that. But at the same time, you really need to analyse what happened today, because it was really poor. I think the XG was 0.19 in open play at home. That is just not good enough for a team of the calibre of players that Arsenal have. It's way off. It's just not good enough.
OK, let's hear from our first fan today on Soccer Saturday Fan Zone. Nick joins us now. Nick, give us your reaction to what happened today. How serious a result do you think this has been
Nick,
for
before
Arsenal?
you even start, I was at the stadium, so I don't want to hear no silliness.
No, mate, you're not going to hear silliness from me, I'll tell you. The only silliness I just heard was Victor Gyökeres' quote. Don't give me all that. But even I just started calming down. I hear that rubbish. It just makes it worse. You want to go down and play Hackney Marshes, mate, on a boggy Sunday. I still see screamers being scored down there. What does it mean we don't need to get into this too much? I'm going to get into it because I'm ready for a rant. Are you ready for a rant?
I'm ready. I want to hear this. This is the Nick I want to hear. Can't Nick?
That was the worst performance I've seen since the Liverpool game. And you know what's worse about it? I expected it, because we haven't been good for ages. Going forward, we've been average, best all season. Today we were abysmal. But in the past, we could at least see games out. You know, our defence were solid. Now they're not even solid. Even just having Timber out exposed us. Ben White fell asleep again for the third time in 3 weeks. Also, I'd like to see a stat. I'd really like to see a stat on how much time we wasted on the ball. It was like we were 4-0 up after the first leg or something, because Raya's foot was on the ball for about 30% of the game, just forcing a pass that wasn't there. Then we faff around for 3 minutes before it goes to Raya, who lumps it forward, and then Bournemouth was winning every first header. I mean, what is the point? What's the game plan here? Nick, I'd love to know.
Nick, you're spot on today.
Everyone says the players look nervy, right? Apparently they look nervy, but they're not nervy playing out the back. Why can't they do the same thing 40 yards up the pitch? And I'll tell you why. I've got a theory why. I've got a theory. Maybe because everyone's talking about how good our squad is. Maybe we're actually not that good going forward. Maybe defensively our squad's good, but playing creative football, when I saw that lineup today, right, I knew we were in trouble, because going forward, I don't think they're good enough. That was full of average. Martinelli on the left, I've been saying for 3 years, offers nothing, right? We haven't addressed that. Havertz clearly can't play in midfield. We've seen that for years, and he still persists. Put him up top or don't put him at all, right? Madueke, I like the kid,
James,
but
I like listening to this.
Right?
Nick, can I just say one thing? Nick, can I say one thing today? I love this rant, and you know what? It's not even a rant. It's the truth. It is absolutely true, because I thought the same thing. When I looked at that starting team today, I was thinking to myself, okay, Martinelli made an assist during the week. It was a great assist, great goal by Havertz. But he hasn't been good enough this year. I look at the players that came on, right? I said this yesterday. As far as I'm concerned, Max Dowman needs to start. I don't care no more. Arsenal need to get over the line. That kid, when he plays, he's fearless. He wants the ball. He goes at players. He might lose it, but he goes at them. Too many times we get into a position where we're just knocking the ball around the pitch.
Why are they taking the safe option?
I really don't know, to be honest. And Nick, you're absolutely right. Raya is literally touching the ball. He has hit the ball at his feet, probably more than any other player on the pitch. And obviously you're 80 yards from goal. I don't get that. And another thing, Nick, this is what I wanted to ask you. Do you think Eze should have started that game rather than come off the bench?
Do you know what? It's difficult because we don't know how fit he was after the injury.
But he's played 50 minutes. He came on after 56 minutes. So he would have played the better part of a half of football, basically.
Yeah, listen, and in hindsight, yeah, look, the one thing I did like from Arteta today, he made changes early, and he made the 3 right changes to make.
I don't think he made them soon enough.
Yeah,
I think he should have made them at half time. Because we were poor.
Probably.
Let's not get. We was poor. Like, I don't know if you know this, Nick. Our XG in open play was 0.19. We are not creating nothing in open play. Like, we're literally not. We're not passing through the. Again, Declan Rice is the only player. He's trying to drive our team forward. He's the only player. And Gabriel today, he was quality as well. I don't know where this Arsenal team goes. Do you think any of these players, Nick, would even be considered for Team of the Year in the attacking areas?
No, I think we are a team full of average at the moment. I really do. Like, there might be names, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough. There's so many players that need to go in the summer. It's untrue. And I mean, Declan Rice is the only one that seems to give you like an 8 out of 10 every game. And then you might get like Raya's been good, Gabriel's been good, and Timber's been good. The rest of them, there's no creative flair, no talent there. There's nothing. Listen, the one thing is we have got a few players out. It's our squad that is meant to get us through, and it's not doing it. It's not doing it at all.
Can I ask you one question, just a quick answer, because we've got to move on. If Arsenal end up coming away from this season with no trophies, what next? Is Arteta still in a job for you next season?
I've been asked this question so many times, and I think you're going to keep asking me till I break. It's not been asking me today. I'm too vulnerable and emotional, mate. I'm going to plead the fifth.
You might not get another chance on TV if you don't answer.
I'm still hopeful. I was confident last week. I'm hopeful now. He's a young, progressive manager that's always willing to learn. And one thing I will say for him, he did recognise the players that weren't working today. I'm sure he's not sending them out and saying, go and faff around for 40 minutes. The players have to stand up too.
Nick, thank you very much for now.
Thank you, Nick.
Remember, you're still 9 points clear at the moment, so there's still time. There's still a chance Arsenal can end that long wait. Now, there's been some woe for Arsenal fans today, but there is another side to this story, and it's been an incredible story for Bournemouth over the course of the last few weeks. We can speak to Katie, a Bournemouth fan who joins us now after another victory at the Emirates for the Cherries. This unbeaten run keeps going on and on. What did you make of the performance today?
Oh, I'm in heaven. Do you know what? Listen, we've been on an 11-game unbeaten run. This has taken us to 12. I think since we last played Arsenal, we've been unbeaten. So, you know, they kick-started us and they've allowed us to keep going with another 3 points. So, yeah, a brilliant result. But I think well-deserved in terms of how we performed. I think, Jay, you're right in terms of, you know, Arsenal didn't look up to the task today. I think they were luggish and so on and so forth, but I think we massively took that into our advantage and performed and got the 3 points that we deserved.
Yeah, Kate, I agree with you there. Sorry, let me just give Bournemouth credit, because it wasn't that Arsenal was bad. Arsenal were bad, but I think that is because of how good Bournemouth were. Bournemouth pressed Arsenal so high and made it really difficult for Arsenal to play out. I thought Truffett was amazing today. He was getting so tight to Madueke, he couldn't turn. He didn't have no plan B. Senesi again. Your whole back line was really, really solid.
Can I just shout out, by the way, James Hill. James Hill, right?
He's had an amazing few months, hasn't he?
1 million Great British pounds from Fleetwood Town. 1 million.
That's unbelievable, isn't
it? You know, Dean
Is that bargain of the season? I think that's bargain of the season.
Dean Howson last season, they were talking about him time and time again. He scores at Arsenal. Okay, James Hill has saved our bacon so many times this season. Alex Jimenez again with an incredible block last minute against Gabriel. You know, he got injured in the process, but what a challenge it was. Petrovic has come on and on throughout the season. You know, he's now making great saves. I think, you know, that the addition of Mandas in the January window probably gave him a little bit more competition to think about. But again, Alex Scott, what a finish! Came on
again.
Why is he not on the plane?
There's still time.
How good do you think Krupi can be, Kate? Because I watched him today and I thought he was fantastic.
Listen, I'm not an Arsenal fan, obviously. Thierry Henry, he'll be levels above. I genuinely put him in the same conversation because he's got the same killer instinct time and time again. 10 goals in your Premier League season as a teenager. He's 19. Do you know what I mean? The sky's he's not even playing for the French first team. He's playing under 21s level, and he's still absolutely flying. Ryan, again, has come in the January window. He's taken the Premier League, under his belt. All right, he's still adjusting. But, going back to, I think the main thing for me really is, and the bit that we were all annoyed about over the international break was how's Alex Scott not on that plane? Tuchel said he was putting characters in before, in the last few games about how he implements different players that haven't perhaps had the call-up. Alex Scott's had one in one camp, but he proved again today why he deserves to be on that plane in the summer. And I genuinely sit there and think, over the international break, he was the player that England were missing at times. That creativity, that flair, that talent. Listen, his celebration was a telephone call, and I tell you what, Thomas Tuchel needs to pick up that phone.
Kate, obviously he was fantastic. I think the World Cup has come a bit too soon for him. I think that's the problem. I think if he had have gave him minutes, at the beginning of the season, I think we might be having a different conversation, because like you said, he's been fantastic. Kate, there was some talk during the week that Iraola might be leaving in the summer. What do you feel about that?
At the end of the day, Andoni's going to make the decision he makes. We still don't know. I think, we've come to the fact that, it may end up that he may go or he may stay. We don't know. The everlasting, the fact that the deadline's not being hit and he's still not signed a contract means that you only sort of lean to one way, doesn't it? But we don't know. The work he's done since he's been here has been incredible. He's taken us to new heights. He's taken us out of that worry and that fear of being in a relegation battle each season to, oh my goodness, we're on the cusp of European football. That table is still so tight. It's still doable, and that sounds ridiculous that I'm saying that, but it is still doable.
No, it's a reality.
And, he's an unbelievable manager, and, whether he signs the contract or he leaves at the end of the day, I think all of us at Bournemouth would, whatever he ends up doing, would wish him all the best. And he's handled everything with class, week in, week out. He gets asked the same question, are you signing a contract or are you not? And,
doesn't give him much away, does he?
Still, no, but, he's respectful to the fans and to the club in the process. So whether he does or not, either way, I wish him all the best. And if he stays with us, then brilliant, happy days.
Kate.
Might well be. Losing here to Bournemouth as the Premier League is shaping up as it is right now, and obviously with what's happened before this in the cup competition. It is a 2-1 loss for Arsenal. They do still have a 9-point lead at the top of the table, but that could be cut to 6 when City play Chelsea tomorrow. But let's get word from Mikel Arteta speaking after the game.
Well, it's extremely disappointing. It's a big punch on the face. That's what I said to the boys, and now it's about how we react to that. Because game on is going to require now a bigger spirit, a lot of fight, and very clear how we're going to approach that. There's no gray areas. We are in, we are out, and we need to be very, very, very strong and determined to approach it in a different way that we done today, especially when the game wasn't going our way. Today there was some very basic things that we did extremely bad against a team that when you do that, they're going to capitalize, stress the PS, the game becomes very chaotic and very difficult to control. So yeah, it's a lot good things that they've done obviously and credit to them. But I think there is a lot in our plate to look at ourselves.
Jan Agerfjordhoff joining us now. We'll hear from Jan in just a moment. I want your reaction, Stevie, to what we saw today and the fact that Arsenal have dropped points in this title race.
After the game was finished, I can't help thinking that Arteta's the problem. Arsenal have, going forward, Arsenal recently in the Premier League have struggled to create clear chances, to have any sort of combination, and they've been picking points up with, surprise, surprise, set pieces, maybe an individual piece of brilliance. But as a unit, they've had nothing going forward. Now, you can look at that and say, well, sometimes that happens. You've got too many forward players who are out of form. But in terms of the whole team, if you want to win the Premier League or any title, you have to go and win it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. It's not just going to drop in your lap. And to me, that's down to the manager, how he puts you on the field. And this Arsenal team stepping on the field should have been thinking about squeezing the life out of Bournemouth, getting in their face, making it tough for them. Instead of that, they were standing off and letting Bournemouth pass the ball around. You do that with this Bournemouth side, and they're going to create chances. And guess what? You end up losing 2 goals. I understand that some players are not in form, and you could say that about pretty much every forward player that Arsenal has, whether it's Jesus coming on, Havertz at 10, why is Eze not playing? Martinelli did nothing, Trossard gave nothing, Madueke didn't do anything. I mean, the young kid down, you're asking a 16-year-old to get you out the mire. You can't do it all the time. I think the biggest problem they have is Arteta not putting them on the field in the right frame of mind.
I don't think Zubimendi's playing well either, Stephen.
No.
I mean, Scott ran off him for the goal there.
Yep.
And he was gluing the whole thing together at the start of the season. So, yeah, he's not playing well either.
Bit of a wobble, Jan. How big a is it in the title race?
Well, how big blow is it to play bad? I mean, out of the FA Cup, League Cup final gone, and then a good result in Lisbon. And we thought, well, it was good for them to get on the confidence now going to a great race. Yes, Bournemouth been in great form lately. Yes, Bournemouth been there before and winning. But as Stephen was saying, a lot of set pieces today. They love the set pieces, Arsenal. Bournemouth hate it, and they still couldn't produce anything. So let's try to get into the dressing room of Arsenal. And they can use all buzzword in the world. It's all about how we react. It's all about next game. It's all about stick together. I tell you what, in that dressing room now, it's panic on Titanic. I mean, it's here we go again. Should we be the butlers again? And the players can say all they want. This is going through the head now. And I agree with Stevie. And in Arteta's head, it will go as well. I still think it's for them to lose. We still need to get a City need to win a Chelsea that will be desperate for the Champions League and so on. And City still got to win next Sunday against Arsenal and so on and so on. But it's 100% that every signal out of that Arsenal dressing room at this moment is we got a great squad. We've probably been the best team this season, but we can't more rely on the set pieces. We have to win football games. Can we do it again? Is our manager 2-3 months away from being thrown out of his job? No, leave the buzzword. It's panic. It's panic big time. And I'm not even saying the word butlers. I won't even use that word.
What are you seeing, Craig?
Well, there's a worrying trend here, and it's not a trend in a positive nature. When you get in sort of a negative connotation, and that's where they are, and that's where they have been recently, you start to see it in performances, you start to see it in confidence levels, and when you look at the stats, the last 10 games, we've gone back to the last 10 games here roughly. There was 43 games before March 1st. 3 games they lost in 43. 3 in 10. It's not actually 3 in 10, that's 3 in 4. Set piece goals, currently 3 against 25, but more important is the percentage of the set piece goals. 5.5 of percentage they are putting away compared to 13% before. So all this set piece talk is diminishing. They're not as prominent and not as effective from set pieces. Open play goals before March the 1st was almost 1.5 a game. In the last 10 games, it's 0.7. That's a half. And just as important, down the bottom, XG from open play of 1 and above. In the last 10 games, 0. Before March the 1st, it was over 50%. So what we're seeing is a diminishing Arsenal from set pieces, which was their big calling. We're seeing them not defending as well. We're seeing them very poor from open play. They're not creating the chances. The eye test will tell you, and the stats will back it up. Not once in 10 games has the XG been over 1. I'm not saying you need to be into XG, but it kind of paints a little bit of a picture about how many chances you're creating. So the chances are down, the confidence is down, the creativity is down, the confidence is all over the place, and the set pieces, either teams are figuring them out or the delivery's not as good. But whatever way you want to look at it, every statistic where they were more successful from March and before, 1st of March and previously, they have started to go down. Now, is that just form? Or is that the fact that City just haven't quite gone away? There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of talk, and none of these players have proven they've got over the line. we're going to. As Jan said, I'd still rather be in Arsenal's position.
Yeah.
Because you can always find something. I'd rather have the team with more points than the games in hand. But if this trend that's shown in those stats continues, the chances are they're going to lose more games. The big question is, can City put that run together? There's no doubt that they've got some big games coming up. But when you've been so reliant on your set pieces, and I got a bit, I don't know about you, but I got a bit fed up with it. Every time they got a set piece, the crowd got on their feet. And that was always going to dry up a little bit, as it has. 13% to 5% of a success rate. Then you've got to lean on the rest of your game. And what they've done is, they've almost gone back into the shell. A bit like the Carabao Cup final against City. It was like some championship side defending their own box and letting City have all this possession. And as Stevie said, they used to go out and throttle teams. They'd suffocate them. And they'd win the ball back, and then they'd play in their intensity, and it wasn't always brilliant, but you really struggle to be able to play against this Arsenal team. Now you don't. They're not as difficult to play against. So every facet of their game is down from... probably the goalkeeper's the only one that's still playing particularly well, and he's having to.
He made a mistake today.
But every other facet is down. Set pieces, possession, chances created, you name it, it is down. The only one we can't put a percentage on is confidence. You can't measure that. But as Jan said, you go in that is low.
I think you used the perfect word there, doubt, because they doubt whether they can do it. Because when you're playing football and you're just playing, it's easy to run. Everything you do is a lot easier. But when there's doubt in your mind, everything is harder. And from what Craig's just shown us there, every single facet of the game recently, those last 10 games, has been hard for them. Every single facet. And that only happens when you have doubt. So there is no question that they have doubt that they can do it.
But I think the doubt is starting at the top.
Starts with the manager, doesn't it?
Because I think the players sense the tension and the fear and the worry in him. We don't see what goes on at the training ground apart from that stuff with the pens.
The nonsense.
All that. But we don't see all the stuff that goes on at the training ground. But players will sense if he's on edge and maybe a little different. If he's acting a little different, a little edgy, players will sense that, and then obviously, supporters definitely will let you know when they're feeling it, and Arsenal fans are feeling it at the moment. And as I said in yesterday's show, and we were talking, City will sniff and smell, and this was before Arsenal lost. We thought Arsenal would win today, but City would sniff and smell that down the line there may be an opportunity to peg on the back of an Arsenal collapse. And that's why this game tomorrow in London for Manchester City is so big, so huge. And if they do win it, and there's no guarantee, then the chins of that Arsenal dressing room will fall even further to the ground, because that piles even more pressure on.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens in that game. But then, of course, in the league, it's City for them next. And you mentioned the schedule that's coming up. They've also got Newcastle and Fulham to come and visit them at their home. But, Jan, I just wanted to put something to you that Victor Gyökeres has said after the game. He said the pitch was dry and that didn't help. Is that a thing for a striker?
Well, there's a lot of things. I guess the best strikers in the world will score on dry, on wet, windy, rain, snow, thunder, everything. And it's a good question, because I was thinking when Craig had his excellent analysis of the situation there, I was thinking of that. If I remember. And I'm not going to open that thing with Arsenal lacking that top striker, because Gyökeres just sent Sweden to the World Cup. But there were some chances today. And if you see the last season with Erling Haaland, with Mohamed Salah, have there been any champions triumphs when they don't have that player who can save them on a bad day? It seems that Arsenal, and Craig was alluding to it, with the set pieces was done. But today, okay, save a pointer at the end. And Gyökeres has opened his account, but this is not the big striker that is in there. And so his form is okay, but it's not good enough to shoot into a championship, it seems. And I will put another name in, Declan Rice. I see that he gets the captain's armband. I talked to my English pundits or my colleagues. I listened to their analysis, and Declan Rice is apparently the biggest guy of leadership since Lord Nelson. Yeah, he's the captain today, but I didn't see that. I didn't see him doing that. And I'm not saying this because he's a Norwegian, but I think that they miss informed Martin Ødegaard. Unfortunately, he's having some problems with injuries this season, and he had a setback in Lisboa, but they need him back. They're desperate to get him back for that balance in midfield. At this moment, Declan Rice, who is the big hope for England, the England national team, he's not producing either. Saka, what has he done lately? I mean, there's so many in there now. And when Bournemouth came, and it was kind of predicted with the form that Bournemouth got, but still they managed to take them a bit apart. And that is worrying, but that means that the big home games, you can say, if they win their home games, if they look good and they will have some good results away from home, then they will win this. But Bournemouth just showed today, the all teams that will come to Emirates, no, that's not how it is. Just be on their case, play on their lack of confidence, and you got a chance to take 3 points away.
Can I just make a comment about what Gyökeres said? Because when I watch games, I've always got an old coach of mine, Ronnie Moran, in my head. He's always in my head. And the one thing he would say, if he was Gyökeres' coach, and he said that to him, he would say, the field was dry for them as well, you know.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop Bournemouth knocking the ball around, didn't stop Bournemouth creating chances, didn't stop Bournemouth getting 2 goals. That's exactly what Ronnie would have said.
And the other side of that is as well, and it is a ridiculous comment to make. And sometimes sometimes a pitch is maybe a little bit dry, but is it dry for both teams? But sometimes you might want a pitch that's a bit skiddier and stuff, but Arsenal control that. Well, they're the home side. If that's what Arteta wants, and Gyökeres and Declan Rice and Zubimendi and Madueke and all these players that are fit and available, then the groundsman waters the pitch before the game and he waters it at half-time. And they get a pitch that's a little bit more fiery. So when you're at home, you're in control of that. There's no point, in retrospect, making an excuse about it. It just makes you look weak, and it makes you look like you are doing what you're doing, looking for excuses.
Yeah, and we'll give Saka a pass, Jan. He's injured right now.
Yeah, but he has been injured when he was playing.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing well before that.
Okay.
No, exactly.
He's not alone. You're right about Declan Rice. There's a bunch of them not playing well.
Yeah, but Craig, I just put them forward because if you're going to win titles, you need. Yes, you can have a great squad, you can have a great bench, but you need your star players to produce, and that's what I mean. And that's especially related to Saka, to Rice, the big players, and they're not big at the moment, unfortunately, for Arsenal fans.
Yeah, because when City were doing it and Liverpool were doing it, it was Van Dijk and it was Salah and some others, and it was Rodri and it was Erling Haaland and it was 1 or 2 others. The real, the big stars, the leaders in there who were taking the team on their shoulders. Yeah, they had Gravenberg and McAllister and other players that were really good. But it was Van Dijk leading the back line, which he hasn't this year. It was Mo Salah doing great things, which he hasn't this year. And hence one of the reasons that they've struggled. But in times of success, those guys have really stood up and taken the baton and run with it. And I think that's what Jan's point is. Some of these Arsenal players, the so-called more experienced, bigger hitters, and there's a lot of big hitters on the side, need to take that responsibility of the poor form and pick them out of this hole.
So we wanted to show you guys stats, but it's a table of what happens in April for head coaches
Why did you look at me with that grimace?
Because it seems that you're entertaining stats for us today. So
that was weird listening to you earlier, I've got to say.
I'm going to shoot my shot while I can, while we're in this mood. So this is Premier League records in April. This is their head coaching roles in the Premier League over the amount of games that have been played in April where they've been. As you can see, for Arteta, the win percentage is 42% in April. Is there anything in this?
I'm out of this conversation because I've done my stats for the day.
No, it's got...
Okay.
Do you know what?
One
just say
second,
one
Jan, you
thing,
absolutely can. I just want to get to the coach here.
It just says experience. It's got experience written all over it. You look at the manager on the left, you look at the team, the players, the whole thing on the left, they've all been there, done it, won it, seen it. And experience in times like this time of the year, absolutely matters. And you can look at the stats of the other side at Arsenal, and they don't have any experience because they don't know how to win. They don't know how to get across the line. And so when you don't have players that are used to doing that, everybody's looking around to see where that's coming from. Yeah, I was talking about it earlier, 2 seconds ago, about the leaders. But again, it goes back to the main guy. Because when everybody's looking around, the reason you're the head coach is because it lands at your door. Everything lands at your door. And they're looking to him. And he has no experience of it, really.
That's the number.
Yeah.
That's the number.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to give you the fingers there. Not giving you the fingers. That's 3. Not giving you the... So, 3 games, I think, for Arsenal. Next 3 games are absolutely the key. Manchester City, Newcastle, and then a decent Fulham side without being great that Liverpool exposed today. Those 3 games are now crucial because of the run they're in, because of the negative stats I showed you about the way they're playing, about all the facets of the game. If those 3 games were to be more or less all 3 defeats or 2 defeats and a draw, something like that, they could either put this to bed or they're going to be right back in the mire. Because you look at the other 3 or 4 they've got after that, it's not that difficult. Although West Ham are in a relegation battle, that could be maybe a little bit more tricky. Once they get past the first 3, it, in paper, loosens up a little bit on paper. But Arsenal are in this mindset at the moment where I don't think anything's easy. So, yeah, the next 3 for them are key. Lose the next 3, and I think they're going to lose this league.
Jan, what was it you wanted to say when you saw that graphic about the record in April?
When the goings get tough, the tough gets going. Was that Billy Ocean who said that?
It was, yeah.
It was.
And I like my quotes from German coaches. And Jupp Heynckes, I've used this many times before. He said the season starts in April and May. And that just shows you that stat. That there are winners and there are losers. And Arteta, to be a winner, he has to overcome this. But just if I may say that to Craig, yes, I understand the team. The running is quite good for them, except for some hurdles there. But I still think that the biggest opposition, the biggest opponent for Arsenal is Arsenal Football Club. I think they are working with their minds and their attitude and the setup. That is the biggest opponents for them.
I agree. I think it's a mind game now. Yeah. I think we're long past, and it's the same when we get to Tottenham. We've talked about Tottenham at length over the last couple of weeks, and a relegation battle now in the bottom 3. It's a mind game for them, and at the top it's the same. We're kind of past the. Are we playing a 4-2-2? Are we playing a 4-3-3?
Yeah.
It's getting over the line time, and that's a mindset. And everybody, there's a lot of people outside of the Arsenal bubble that are sitting waiting for it to burst. And at the moment, they're giving quite a lot of people opportunity to ask a question. Yeah.
Good morning to you. Welcome along to Sunday Supplement, the show where we digest, analyse and debate the sports stories inside the Sunday papers. Once again, so much to talk about this morning, from Arsenal's stuttering title charge, a huge day for their North London rivals Tottenham Hotspur, and Rory McIlroy has a day to forget, but it set up one of the great Masters Sundays. Joining me to discuss it all, Miguel Delaney, chief football writer at The Independent, Charlotte Dunker, football reporter for The Times, and Dan Kilpatrick, deputy news editor at The Athletic. Great to have you all here. Let's see what's making the headlines this morning. Squeaky gun time is the headline in the Mirror as Arsenal lose to Bournemouth, breathing fresh life into the title race. To The Telegraph, who carry quotes from Mikel Arteta, who says the loss is like a punch in the face. They also feature Rory McIlroy's roller coaster day at Augusta National. He'll start the final round as co-leader. The Sun also reports on those Arteta comments, plus Tyson Fury calling out Anthony Joshua following his convincing win last night. Punch and gloomy, say the Express, plus take it to the Maximus. as the pre-race favourite wins the Grand National. A good day for Liverpool features on the
like Bournemouth, but clearly teams have spotted something in Arsenal, how they're locked into an approach that they can get at. And obviously this could be very influential ahead of next Sunday and this big showdown. But secondly, and I think this is where there is the main worry, and it's feeding into a lot of debate you're seeing about Arsenal fans now, where if you look at a game like that, and a game where Arsenal, ultimately they have to get the result, even though a draw mightn't have been too bad for them, there was never a spell in the game where, when you think about Arsenal at their best under Arteta, or even in games where they haven't been at their best and they've had to get a win, where, other than Eze when he came on, a player was getting their foot in the ball, where they were creating these waves of attacks. There was never any concerted spell of pressure, other than these kind of half chances. Gyökeres, again, a massive source of debate there. He got his 2 chances, but they were sort of out of nothing. And I suppose this kind of, it articulates, I think, this feeling with Arsenal for a while. This season, more than recent seasons, they've been a team that play within the margins. And when those margins are closed, like in a game like yesterday, it looks like they don't have the responses they used to.
Charlotte, just picking up on what Miguel said there, the papers are not backward in coming forward in their criticism of Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. Oliver Holt's piece in the Mail on Sunday, he says this incarnation of Arsenal looks shot to pieces with nerves and trepidation and exhaustion, both mental and physical. They can see the finish line, but they are shrinking away from it. And if you look at Sam Wallace's piece in the Sunday Telegraph as well, he focuses on what happened at the Emirates yesterday. He says, look, it was there from early on, a kind of dread that stalks the Emirates now. Are Arsenal about to blow the Premier League title? The possibility hardened over the course of a game that was tough going for those home fans who have rationalised what has gone before on the basis on what they hope is to come. Those words, nerve, bottle, they've come to the fore once again. Are they losing their nerve at precisely the wrong time again?
I think if we look at how they've been performing, I think from the turn of the year, can we argue that they've played really, really well? Arguably not, but they've been really effective and efficient in what they know they're good at in terms of defending really well, performing really well with the set pieces, getting a 1-0 lead and getting it over the line. But you're right in terms of the nerves. I thought as the clock was ticking down yesterday, Miguel was just talking about it, they got in and around the box. They looked nervous. They were just hashing at chances. Gyökeres, there was time to take a touch. He wouldn't. He just hit it first time, wouldn't get it on target. They never looked like they were going to get back in the game. And I think, obviously, the longer it went on, the fans, we heard them boo at full time. They're nervous. They've seen their team come runner-up too many times. This was supposed to be the time for them. And in an ideal world, but they had such daylight between them and second that this should have been like pedestrian champions last few weeks of the season, like it was for Liverpool in the last campaign, whereas now they've been dragged into this cat and mouse thing, really worried about what Man City are going to do. They can say we're only focused on ourselves, we're not bothered about City. Of course they're bothered about City. They've obviously got a massive game today, and that showdown next week at the Etihad is going to be absolutely massive. So I think the nerves have definitely crept in, but that's as a result of what has happened in the last 3 seasons, and can they see history repeating itself?
To Charlotte's point, I think an interesting aspect of that, and the nerves Arsenal felt yesterday and the stadium felt, is Arteta's role pre-match and kind of bigging the game up, because he did this whole thing in his press conference about have an early breakfast, bring your lunch, bring your dinner, which now kind of threatens to be a potentially memorable line if Arsenal do blow this title race. And actually that game arguably should have been a fairly routine home game for the champions-elect. Bournemouth are a good side. They were unbeaten in 12, was it, or 11?
But since the Arsenal defeat, actually.
Since the Arsenal defeat, but they're still 13th in the table, I think. You know, they're still a mid-table side. So bigging that game up for Arteta arguably hasn't worked. You know, it's fed into the nerves. It's fed into the sense that there's this jittery mood around the Emirates and that Arsenal kind of need to get a result, when actually if you think about City and kind of seasons gone by, when they've walked to the title, they've approached these games in a very calm, kind of business-like manner and done the job.
It is something that has been picked up by the Sunday Mirror because their headline is Manic Mix Losing Head. Is that a bit over the top? Because if they had won as people had expected them to, people would have looked at what he did pre-match and said, well, actually, that was a masterstroke.
Yeah, I mean, you always work backwards from the result on these things, right? Like, if Arsenal had won that game, you'd be saying, oh, you know, fair play to Arteta. He built it up. He played on the significance of the occasion, and the fans responded. And I think, you know, from the sounds of it, Miguel was there, I wasn't. The fans were good from the start of the game, and then the nerves kind of crept in based on Arsenal's performance. So it could have gone another way. But I think Arteta is an emotional guy, right? And he plays on the emotion. And he is occasionally a kind of gimmicky manager. You know, he has these plays, and they often work really well. And I guess when they don't work, or when, you know, the emotion isn't channeled in a positive way, you know, it can go wrong, and then fingers will be pointed at him.
Just picking up on that, Charlotte, Martin Samuel in the Sunday Times, he says, look, the irony is Arsenal don't have to play like Manchester City to win the league. They can play like Manchester United, they can play like Everton, hell, they can play like Bournemouth. They just can't play like that. It doesn't matter what the points differential stands, as if Arsenal cannot find their mojo again. Keep playing like this, and if City draw level, Arsenal are done. How big is a challenge this now for Arteta, both on and off the pitch, and his players clearly on the pitch as well? Because you mentioned it before, what has happened in those 3 previous seasons, however much Mikel Arteta, and I've been to his news conferences, won't refer to what's happened, there's clearly going to be scar tissue there, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. All the players will know. They'll think, we've been here before, surely this can't happen again, especially look how much money they invested in the summer. This was supposed to be their season, and for the majority of it, it has been. And Arteta came up with a plan. That plan has been working. He's been criticised for not having this exciting, amazing, beautiful product of football to watch. But I think that's what Martin Samuel's referring to there. Like, don't go out now and start to try and play beautiful football like we've seen Manchester City do in the past, because that's not got you to where you are now. You've got to where you are now by being pragmatic, by being solid at the back, and by being exceptional at set pieces. But if you're getting worked out, you're going to have to find a different way. And I think when you talk about sorting things on the pitch, I think one of the biggest things about yesterday was everyone knew what Bournemouth were going to go there and do yesterday. Arteta would have known what they were going to go there and do yesterday, but they just couldn't find a way to get around it. And I think that's what's so alarming. So there are many issues for him to fix in the next. Well, it's a huge week. They've got Champions League again, haven't they, in a couple of days?
Sam Dean from the Sunday Telegraph was at the Emirates as well. His piece starts, on this dark day in Arsenal season, there were disconnects all over the Emirates Stadium between the defence and the midfielders, between the midfielders and the forwards, and perhaps most damagingly of all, between the players and the supporters. Miguel, you were there at the Emirates. The narrative has been about this noise around Arsenal and how they're gripped with anxiety and nerves way before the end of the season, because I'm sure you've sat here and said, well, if they're feeling like this 20 games before the end of the season, what's it going to be like?
Yeah, absolutely.
With 6 or 7 games to go. You witnessed it yesterday. How can that narrative be changed? Is it down to the fans? Does it start with Arteta? How does it change?
The one thing I would say for Arsenal in this situation is, to be fair to Arteta, they've had 2 big moments like this. One was after the defeat to Manchester United. Another was after the 2-2 draw against Wolves. And in both situations, from what I've heard about, like on the training ground, within the dressing room, and also what he said in public, I think he has done a very good job of realising what was needed, taking the temperature down, and just ensuring they responded. So to be fair, like after the Wolves game, they won at Spurs 4-1. Maybe the opposition helped in that sense, and the type of game it was. But they have gone on a 4-game winning run since then. Then after the Manchester United game, it was actually one of the few games in 2026 that's been comfortable for them, a 4-0 win away to Leeds. So he has been good at that. But of course, he's got 2 challenges there as well. One, how often can you keep saying the same thing? And 2, the closer you get, obviously, the nerves and the edge becomes different. So this is a massive challenge. Maybe the Sporting game actually helps this week, because it breaks up the week a bit. There's the possibility, or the strong possibility, I'd say, they get through to the Champions League semi-final. First time in the club's history that they've got to 2 in a row. Alternatively, if Sporting sends blood, suddenly this could plunge them into a crisis. So, to be fair to Arteta, I would say he's managed this well. But again, it's that test amplified once more.
But it's on such a knife edge at the minute. And because of what's happened historically, everyone's predicting the outcome, and that they're going to keep losing and they're going to keep dropping points, and that it's going to be, we're all going to sit at the end of the season and be writing about how have Arsenal not managed to win the league again. But it's so tight that if they go to City next weekend and they win, people will be sitting on this show the week after that saying, aren't Arsenal amazing? Because because the swing would have gone back in their favour. It literally only takes them to City to slip up a tiny bit and Arsenal to capitalise on that. And I know the reason why we're having these conversations is because we're not seeing that from Arsenal at the minute. We're not seeing them produce those performances that we saw earlier in the season. And the mentality issue is there for as a talking point for a reason. But it is so tight. And he just needs to get them up for that game next Sunday as like a final. And if they go there and win, then the whole mood around everything will change.
Yeah. And obviously all of this, I mean, you mentioned it as well, Darmish, about like, I mean, you know, with City don't go through the same thing. But that's obviously because of the inherent knowledge that City have won this before. And like, so Guardiola City never really had to go through this because it was Mancini City in 2012 that went through this process. And I do wonder whether, I think Arsenal could, quote unquote, bottle it, but only in this spell. Like, I can see a situation there where City win today, Arsenal potentially lose next week on the back of yesterday. It gets level when City